This is how to remove and change out the nylon cable for the Imperial Systems Abort Gate. Before you shut the power off to the abort gate to start, make sure the abort gate blade is down before cutting the power. After the blade is down, you can start. First, you will need to remove the plastic cover for the winch. You may need a pry bar to assist in the removal. Be careful to not damage the gears and wiring. Once you have the plastic cover loose, you may need to cut some of the zip ties on the flexible electric conduit to help give you more slack. Make sure the wiring is out of the way of the gears. You will need to turn on the power to your abort gate in order to get access to the bracket clamp for the end of the nylon cable. If it doesn't engage when you manually retract the cable, then you will need to disable the lower limit switch for the lifting arm. To disengage the limit switch, simply loosen the set screw on the limit switch lever and rotate it out of the way. This should now allow you to manually retract the winch. The purpose of this limit switch is to stop power to the winch when the lifting arm is fully retracted. Retract the winch until you have access to the bolt for the clamp for the nylon cable. Unbolt and remove the clamp and hardware. Now you will need to remove the bolt for the other end of the nylon cable attached to the lifting arm. You may need to move the spring out of the way to access the bolt. You will need to remove the cable from the winch by unwinding it. Make sure you have the power off to the abort gate when doing this by hand. You have now removed your used abort gate nylon cable. To replace your nylon cable, take the new cable from your kit and insert the knotted end over the pulley. Once you have the knot through, make sure the cable is correctly seated in the pulley. Run the knot and cable down and behind the spool to start. Place the other end of the cable with the eyelet between the two plates of the lifting arm and feed the bolt through the eye. This is just to hold the cable in position for now. Now you can wrap the slack left in the nylon cable around the spool. Do this until you're in position to clamp the end of the cable to the spool. Using the clamp bracket, sandwich the cable with the knot facing down and with a bend in the cable that leads back to the spool. Try to get the knot as tight to the clamp as possible. Now that you have the clamp on the cable, feed the bolt through the hole in the spool plate and fix with the nut. Tighten the clamp down halfway. With a flathead screwdriver, push the nylon cable into the clamp. Make sure that a majority of the cable rests inside the ends of the clamp on both sides. Once the cable is in position, tighten down the clamp completely. With the power turned back onto your abort gate, make sure the cable is tight on the spool and begin winding up the excess cable until the slack is out. Make sure that the cable is still seated correctly in the pulley. Now you can add the washer and nut to the back of the bolt on the lifting arm. Tighten this down completely. You can now place the plastic cover back on the winch. Make sure to return the wires and place them back in the clip. This keeps them out of the way of moving gears. You may need a pry bar to assist you with putting the cover back on. Be careful not to damage the gears or wiring. Once you have the cover back in place, you can add the 4 bolts in their respective spots to secure the cover back on. Before adding the bolts on the right side, double check that the wires are clear of the gears. Now you can bolt the right side of the cover using the access holes in the box. Now that you have the cover on and the new nylon cable changed, you can now adjust the switches and sensors on the abort gate. Make sure to watch the abort gate adjustments video to help correctly set up your abort gate. The link for this video is in the description.